Right, I'm just going to drop a camera here. Don't worry, this isn't going to be our final camera. It's just for a while, you know, we're working on the look of the smoke. You know, you can copy them if you want, but I'm probably going to change it later. I'm also just going to move the light quickly as well. Probably look through it, and let's see if I'm just going to turn it randomly. See how that looks. No, still, let's see. Try again. Still seems a bit funny. Once again, let's try it again. Oh, it's because we need to click this when we're moving the light. I think that's why. Let's try that. Bit better. I'm gonna move it a bit more. Kind of hard to see it. There we go. Yeah, that looks better. Just kind of picking up the edges there. Okay, up to you again if you want to copy that. We're going to be completely changing this later, purely for working on the look of this smoke. Just want to look through this camera so we have something, you know, because I want flipbooks with comparison. So yeah, so let's talk about the settings within the actual, you know, in the simulation itself. So first of all, sourcing. So as I said before, coming here, excuse me, into the source, we've got density, temperature, and velocity. So anything else we don't need, we can leave them here, won't cause a problem. Burn and flame are for fire, but we can get rid of that. Everything else we need. You can see here we've got different ways of the kind of math of bringing it in. So the operation here, we got add, you can copy it in, subtract, multiply. For temperature here, they've got it set up to pull, which is, I think it's kind of like, you know, if the temperature coming in is higher than the source is higher than what's here, then it'll kind of move it towards this temperature. And if it's lower, it will move it towards, sorry, not move it towards this, move it towards the source temperature at this rate. And if it's lower, then it will move it at this rate, so, you know, it won't. I'm just going to set it to add, so they're all the same, nice and simple. Be careful with obviously the velocity is a vector, so change that to a vector volume. So that's all fine, set up for us. And then once you source it, we export it out here. Again, we don't have any fire, so we can get rid of temperature. I'm going to convert it to VDB because it will be just a bit, the file size will be a little bit smaller. Simulation here, not going to do anything there. You got global substeps if you want, but then we've also got other substeps that we can look at. Look here, you know, that's just for the viewport here. Won't change anything on the actual material itself, unless, you know, you can get the look, you know, get it looking how you like, and then create a material here if you want. Solving, yeah, it comes with a dissipation on, but I'm going to turn that off. All of these we're going to do in here, basically. Okay, we're going to do them elsewhere. We're going to add some of these things which affect the velocity and stuff like that. Obviously this is for fire, we're not doing that. We'll look at that in another week. Simulation here, I'm going to slow it down, okay, to 0.5, just looks a bit cooler. Oops. To 0.5, so that's, you know, literally the speed. Temperature I'm going to leave as they are. Again here, temperature diffusion, so, you know, hotter parts will heat up the cooler parts if we put this up. But at the moment it won't. I'm going to leave it as it is. Cooling rate, you know, pretty self-explanatory. How fast you know, we typically, things don't stay the same temperature, they cool down. Ambient temperature is kind of a room temperature, and then reference is, so whatever is 1 in our source, temperature, you know, a heat of 1 will be this. The higher this is, the more, you know, the bigger the flames will be, the more buoyant things become. And you have the buoyancy scale there, and then the just typical kind of gravity stuff here. What else in the setup? So voxel size, that's going to be your, you know, the most important thing for the quality, the detail of your simulation. If I zoom in on this, I'm coming out, oops, daisy, and press Z. Control Z and click on my lock here so I don't move the camera. So you can see that's pretty low resolution now. And if I put this up, you'll see even less. I'm going to set this to 0.1. And then also a thing that people typically do is copy this parameter and set the same thing to the voxel size. Okay, so I'm just going to select that. So that's in the when we're converting this. Paste relative reference there. Get rid of these numbers. I don't know where they come from. Okay, so we get the same number there. And then also the pyro source when we're generating the points, the particle separation, we can just paste it in here. Okay, right click, paste relative references, get rid of that. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to come back down here and then set this for the moment. Let's do something like 0.04. Probably I will bring it down again. Anything else I'm going to do? Okay, yeah, so the boundaries. So we can set a size, a maximum size, but I'll just leave that as it is. Okay, so obviously it's a sparse solver, so wherever there's smoke, that's where we'll be active. But we can set a limit to that with this. But you know, I'm just going to leave it. But I'm going to basically, it's like adding a ground plane is set wires closed below 0, so no, the smoke will actually collide with 0 here if it's closed. Okay, let me think now. I think that's all I want to do for the moment. Okay, maybe just add a couple of sub steps. Normally a good idea. I'm just going to set these both to 2. Okay, so we have at least 2 sub steps. Well, we'll always have 2 sub steps now for our sim. So I'm going to jump into my camera, make this full screen, and then run a flipbook with this. Let's just do, don't need loads, I'll do 100 frames. And then we'll come back to this and add some other noises.